Social responsibility. This topic we had seen in the earlier lecture. We understood the meaning of social responsibility, and we also understood who is a corporate social entrepreneur. So, social responsibility means the obligation of the business or the duty or the responsibility of the business to give something back to the society, or what are their activities in order to respect or value the society, or we can say commitment of the business towards the society. So we have seen this topic, social responsibility, the factors for popularity of social responsibility, arguments for and arguments against. These topics we have covered. Then today we are going to discuss a very easy topic, non-governmental organizations, or in short we call it as NGO. NGO. So what is this NGO, and why they are existing, or what are the purpose of their existence, like that. So non-governmental organizations, here you can see it is an organization which is not part of a government and is not founded by states. These are organizations which are independent of government involvement. NGOs are non-profit organizations. Non-profit organizations means their aim or their motive is not about making profit. NGOs are normally, these are subgroup of organizations founded by citizens, which include clubs or associations and all, and it provides services to their members as well as to others. Here you can see one meaning. An NGO is any non-profit voluntary citizens group which is organized on a local, national or international level, task-oriented and driven by people with a common interest. NGOs perform a variety of service and humanitarian functions, bring citizen concern to government, advocate, that means talk for, speak for, and monitor policies and encourage political participation through provision of information. So, what you have to understand here, NGO, non-governmental organization, from that name itself, it is understood that there is no connection between this organization and the government. So NGOs are typically independent of the government. So why this is existing for? This term is generally concerned with social, cultural, legal, or environmental groups that are primarily non-commercial. Non-commercial means they are normally non-profit organizations and they don't believe in profit making. There are lots and lots of NGOs around the world, and most of these NGOs play a very important role in helping the people or in helping in social welfare activities. You might have heard about Red Cross movement, Red Crescent movement and all. These are all coming under world's largest group of humanitarian NGOs. So this NGOs, this is not a new concept. It is there, or it has been existed in history since long period, but in an organized way or in a proper way, it started evolving gradually. So why this is required? Many times all the problems cannot be solved by the government interference. Like many times it will be difficult to be solved the problems within a nation. So many times these NGOs also help in, or they also contribute in helping the government to carry out their responsibilities in a better way. Especially after this globalization and all, the growth of NGO has become very important. Many countries enter into international treaties or international agreements and all, and through this also several NGOs function in different countries. So what you have to remember here is that NGOs are not part of any government. It is not founded by the states also. It is independent of the government. These are also non-profit organizations. They are not for any commercial work. They are non-commercial, primarily non-commercial. And it will include people who are having some common interest. It can be They're organized on a local level, national level, or even international level, which is task oriented, which is having some purpose behind it. And they involve in variety of service and humanitarian functions, like they are part of various social activities, cultural activities, legal activities, environment related activities, like that. Now moving ahead, you can see the features or characteristics of NGOs. What are the different features? Suppose here, first one you can see over here, support democratic system. Democracy, you know the meaning, where the people are ruled by the people themselves. In democratic countries, these NGOs are very much helpful to support the government system, especially various government programs or various government schemes which do not reach the grassroots level. NGOs can actually come forward in helping in getting these schemes to the poor people, like several government programs related to social welfare, education for the poor, public health, pollution control, sanitation, rehabilitation of the people, even rehabilitation of the drug addict, like that. So basically, we can say that they are assisting the government in helping in social welfare activities. Then, no profit basis. NGOs function on no profit basis. But then, how do they get the fund? They will be getting their fund, or they collect funds from their own, or they may even get financial support from the government or various other organizations. That is why many, as earlier lecture we had seen about CSR. Companies do come forward. Many companies do come forward to support the people through various NGOs. So through various companies also, through various corporates also, such NGOs will get the funding. So basically, they are not at all functioning for any profit. They are functioning, or their interest is to serve the society in a devoted manner, in a committed manner, and it is for raising social welfare and not for any personal or monetary gain. Then wide operation area. Wide operation area means, here area means different field. Different field means different sphere. Like NGOs operate in variety, different types of NGOs are there, variety of areas are there, like they are there in consumer awareness, consumer education, creation of social awareness among business people, talking about cultural activities, social welfare activities, education for the poor children. Then in various such kind of NGOs are there. And many times these business enterprises keep in contact with the NGOs which are suitable for their business activities, and they will take the help of these NGOs in discharging their responsibility towards the society. So various areas are there. If you start with education, women empowerment, girl child empowerment, then nutrition for the small children, like that, every area, each and every social area is covered by NGOs. Then it is voluntary in character. NGOs are voluntary in nature. Voluntary means it is not compulsory for anybody to join in an NGO. These are voluntary organizations, but it is registered. It should be registered under the Societies Registration Act. And they do have to follow all the legal regulations with respect to that. Individuals are not at all forced to be part of any NGO. They are free to join any NGO as per their interest and wish. Like you can see in NGO, you will be finding people from various field. Like there you can find professionals, retired government people, senior citizens, and all who are socially aware or who are socially conscious, and they all will be like-minded people or people with similar thinking, and they are coming forward voluntarily. खुद से आके join करते हैं in order to participate in socially useful activities. Then limited external control. These control of NGOs are normally limited because they are existing for peace. Their activities are for a particular purpose, and generally they are non-political in nature. And their activities are conducted based on certain rules, regulations, principles, and all. They do maintain their accounts. They have statutory books and all, and they work on democracy principles. So there is no much external interference over here. Non-political character. NGOs are operating in almost all the countries, different countries, be it a part of any continent. They are very commonly found in different countries. They are concerned with the social, educational, public health type of activities. They are not much related to politics, or they are not much interested to or affiliated to any political parties. Rather, they have a view to uplift the poor people in the society. Clearly defined objectives. They have specific objective. Each and every NGO has specific as well as well defined objectives and area of operation. They are all basically service organizations. As I told you, they don't focus on profit. Some might be related to education, some might be related to sanitation, some might be concerned with public health, pollution, drinking water, protection of animals, child welfare. PETA करके है, PETA. PETA is very much famous for protection of animals. Like that, so many are there. And each of them has their own clearly well defined objectives. Need financial support. NGOs need funds for the conduct of social activities. Like many times, as I told you, they don't rely on profit. They don't engage in any commercial activity to get the fund. They raise fund through various schemes. They also get financial support through donations, through sponsorship, and through government financial aid. And even some NGOs get support from international agencies as well. But it is very much mandatory to keep the records properly with respect to the fund they are collecting. So that is what I told you. Many companies, many corporates join hands with these NGOs for discharging their corporate social responsibility. Because when it is through NGO, these NGOs will be having clear idea where to deposit the fund and who all will be getting benefited out of that. So these are the features or characteristics of NGO. Next, you can see different types of NGOs. Different types of NGOs are there. As I told you, so many you can see around. Some are concerned with social activities, some are concerned with cultural, legal, environment. So many types are there. But some major we will see over here. NGOs which help in protecting the fundamental rights. There are so many NGOs which will help in protecting people's right, and they highlight the violation of fundamental human right. Like they always see whether the government is doing the right thing for the people. Like there are NGOs like PUCL, People's Union for Civil Liberties, then those for protecting the democratic rights. So many are there. So this is actually helpful for commoners when they have any problem with respect to the fundamental rights. Dealing with housing problems. This is what example is there this is basically for economically deprived people, or with respect to the people who are not having proper accommodation, or they don't have proper residential areas, like that. There are so many examples over here. This is mainly concerned with the housing problems of the poor people in the urban areas. Then fighting against exploitation, so many are there, especially against child labor. So many NGOs are there. Again, to protect child labor. Then some NGOs fight against gender-based exploitation. Some fight for protecting the rights of the women, like that. Activist NGOs. These NGOs fight social and economic evils. They are also interested in protecting the consumer rights, regulation of unfair trade practices, pollution control, and all. They may bring people together, or that is, their activities are actually protecting the large number of people. They may start it individually. Later on, more and more people might be joining them. Then there are NGOs who are handling research and documentation activities. Like what they do is that they are involving research activities. This actually help these people to do better in this particular area. So many such NGOs you can find. Now, what are the social responsibility of these NGOs? They help to create awareness. They undertake various activities for creating awareness among the people, and they require support from the people. For this, they maintain, or they we can say they have a sustained or consistent effort, so that people realize that they are united and they are standing for the welfare of the people. So for this reasons, that is why many village areas, many local areas and all, we can find so many people so many NGO representatives who are even talking the local language or local dialect, so that they can easily connect with the local people. So, by creating awareness about the rights and responsibilities, by helping them know about the rights against exploitation, by helping them know about the various schemes which are introduced by the government and all, they try to create awareness among the people. Then they protect human rights. NGOs do a lot of work in when it comes to a commendable job when it comes to protecting the human rights, be it belonging to any section, any creed, any religion, anything. So abuses against the people are very strongly fought against by different NGOs. They also encourage rehabilitation. Rehabilitation means sometimes people get displaced, especially when during some natural calamities, people lose their homes and all. That time, NGOs come forward in helping them get finding a suitable location till they are getting their homes back. Otherwise, war area and all, war and conflict affected areas, riot areas and all, there also they helping getting this accommodation very well. Other than that, they also help in rehabilitation of the drug addict, or we can say alcohol addicts. Such people also they help in coming back to the normal life. That is rehabilitation. So many citizens are actually getting adversely affected, negatively affected because of many reasons, like as I told you, drug addicts. Then many such NGOs even work for poor people, especially untouchables in the society. And of course, that is all improving nowadays. Untouchables and all are almost, that situation is gone now. Still, these NGOs and all play a major role in helping them, even helping in physically handicapped people, mentally handicapped people, and mentally challenged people and all, war widow, like that. Such people get help from various NGOs for settling in their life further. Then there are NGOs working for protecting the environment. They focus on environmental aspects like making eco-friendly products, eco-friendly goods using green technology, those things. Then NGOs also help in combating man-made crisis. Combat means overcoming man-made crisis, especially crisis like due to communal riot, war, etc. NGOs provide money, provide fund, provide food, medicine, and all for reaching to the poor people. Even medical practitioners like doctors are brought in to serve such people who are in the affected areas. They also help useful service during natural calamities, as I told you, like earthquake, storm, flood, etc. Now you can see when this flood situation is happening in that different parts of Maharashtra, so many NGOs are coming forward for donating. These are all for helping the poor people over there. Then gainful employment. NGOs also teach people about the importance of working or the importance of labor, dignity of labor. They help the people to and they motivate the people to have a respectable life. So what they do, they have many organizations which provide skill development and training for having gainful employment. Like so many women, especially in the rural areas, we can see with the help of several NGOs, they help in providing tailoring machines or embroidery units. They even provide many such small skill development techniques so that the women get some kind of employment. These are the different social responsibility of NGOs. Now, I have taken here four examples of NGOs. So many you can see when we look around. I have only taken four over here, one at the international level, the national level, state level, and the local level. So, national level, there is one very famous NGO known as Doctors Without Borders. It is also known as Medicines Sans Frontiers. Sans means without. Medicine, Doctors Without Frontier means border. It is an international humanitarian medical non-government organization. This is in medical field, and this is of French origin, best known for its projects in conflict areas, conflict zones, and in countries affected by endemic diseases. So, to be part of this Doctors Without Borders, Doctor Without Border means no restriction there. Here we will find doctors who are belonging to different countries, and these doctors willingly come forward and help the people in various parts of the world. and these doctors may not be having any kind of benefits and all over there, like they won't be having any posh hospital, they will not be having very good facilities and all, they might be having a small tent or a small buildings and all. Still these people come forward to serve those affected people, especially in war zone and in countries affected by pandemic endemic diseases and all. It's a very famous NGO. Now when it comes to state level, there is something known as child line. Child line, that is a state, that is in the country level. I'm taking this example. It aims to reach out to every child in need and ensure their rights and protection. Child line करके एक है. Then there is child right and you. Child right and you, it is in short, it is known as CRY. CRY. That is a Mumbai based NGO. CRY. That is also standing for child right. Then, when it comes to the local area, like in Chembur, there we have one known as Apnalaya. That is also an NGO which is working for serving the poor people. So, when we look around, we can see so many such NGOs and so many people also who are part of such NGOs who try to make a difference in the society. So, this is about NGOs, non governmental organizations.